still the same day. I came back home because I have my other 2 interviews at, like, it was 4 hours apart from when I had my ocular migraine. So I'm going to be leaving in about an hour and a half. I came back, I ate some more, I rested my eyes. I couldn't sleep. I don't know, I can't sleep during the day too much unless I'm really exhausted, and I am really exhausted right now. It's like almost that I feel guilty or something to be napping. Yeah, so I have 2 interviews to go to, 2 more, and I did call the guy after the camera ended this morning, and he completely agreed. He was actually going to hire me. I asked him if he has a different yard, and he said unfortunately not. He drives 49 kilometers to work, and he said that is way too much for him as is, and it takes him like 45 minutes. My distance was 90 kilometers each way, which is crazy, and I'm also driving in the direction that everybody's driving to get to work. Probably take me about an hour and a half to get to work and an hour and a half to go home, so that's didn't make sense. And he agreed, and I just told him to keep my resume on file, and if anything shall change, they might decide to open up their yard in closer to where I am. So you never know. They are switching shops in about a year, so they're closing down their 2 facilities, and they're opening it up in it's in the same area but in a different location. So they might change their mind. They might want to go in a completely different city. So we will see. But I'm excited about the interviews today. I hope I get at least one of those jobs because I'm completely running out of time. I am right now pretty broke, so I am really running out of time. I have bills to pay, and I need to feed myself and my dogs, so I need to get a job. Now I need to have a job next week. So that's about it, guys. Under different life circumstance, but that's okay. It is what it is. And so right now even $10 is expensive for me. It's unaffordable. Wasn't the case a year ago. A year ago things were so different. But this has definitely taught me a lot about the value of money, and I'm a completely different person now in terms of the way I am with money and how much more respect I have for it. And it's funny because nobody ever taught me the value of anything about money or saving or anything like that from when I was born. So I'm learning now on my own, which it's never too late. And so I need to get a job really fast, otherwise things will fall apart very quickly. There's been a lot of circumstances. Things have already kind of fallen apart in one way or another. And but to prevent it from further falling apart, I really need to get a job. So that's where things stand. And I will talk to you guys soon. Just know that not everybody on YouTube is doing well, in whether it's financially or physically or mentally, whatever. And that's the reality of it. Everybody at one point or another hits a low time in their life. I've spoken about this before, and I'm probably going to put a lot of emphasis into this, and I'm now so much more sympathetic with everything, I would, for people out there who are narcissists or cocky, my best advice is to just not learn sympathy and empathy once you've been down at the low point, you know. So I was always really humble. I was not a certain narcissistic person at all. I've always thought myself, you know, even though maybe I have a few extra dollars than the next person next to me, I've never thought I'm superior in any way or form. But I always thought, well, you know what? Well, if they can afford that, why would they not go and work another job? Well, it's not that easy. I understand it now. And I also, you know, in terms of like mental health, I would always think, like when I would see TV shows and people would be talking about, well, this happened in my childhood and, you know, I still haven't gotten over it. And this person's like 30 years of age, for example, right? And I used to say, well, you know, you're an adult now, you're responsible for your own feelings and what you think. But no, because things that have happened to me, this is the first year that I haven't had an abuse or haven't been exposed to some sort of an abuse in one way or another. And I just began therapy. So, yeah, there's been abuse in all kinds of forms, whether it's not physical directed to me, but a very physical household, physically violent. And then with my stepdad, he yeah, it was a very sexually molested me and my sister for a while. My sister for maybe about 5-6 years. Inappropriate touching, things like that. She left home early, and then yeah, so that continued for a very long time. And then I also had emotional abuse from my partner. For a long time, and it just never ended. And my therapist said I've had so much trauma in my life, it's going to take me a long time before I have healed myself, and I'm never going to probably completely heal from my anxiety and panic attacks. She said it will get better, but it will never heal 100%. And yeah, so I'm finally at this time in my life, the first time ever I'm having a therapist. And I always thought therapy, I would be ashamed if I had therapy 10 years ago. But today I'm not, because I finally admit that I have anxiety and panic attacks, and it's not shameful. It's like going to your physician and getting your body checked. You get your head checked. Same thing. Even my therapist is in therapy. So just to give you guys an insight, it would have been better if I had therapy, you know, in my teens, and began from there to deal with the household, the violent household that I grew up in. But yeah, didn't. So this is what it is. Anyhow, yeah, so I'm getting better in terms of my, you know, mental health, the anxiety and the panic attacks. And yeah, guys, it's things are really different today. Like, I don't have much of anything monetary wise, but I'm gaining a lot in independence, in learning new things, in my emotional state of mind, you know. Yeah, so I've gained so much more in that sense. Money is not everything. And yeah, so that's where this conversation came from. So that's why I need a job now. Otherwise it's not going to be good. There's some chaos going on next door to me. Yeah, there's always chaos here. Like, I'll tell you guys something. So there was a guy, I parked in the winter time beside him, but he's not there in the winter, right? So I was there all winter long. The German Shepherds go off. So he told me, oh no, actually this is how it happened. Apparently his wife is afraid of big dogs. Right now, I've never met the wife. Like, I've seen him 4 or 5 times during the winter time. She has never come, right? So I hear it actually from someone else that apparently she's afraid of one of my German Shepherds. So I went to his campsite, and I asked him, I said, is your wife afraid of my German Shepherds? And that's the first time I'm actually meeting her as well. She's never met me or my dogs. And he said, yeah, you know, she's really afraid, and she's had a traumatic experience when she was a child, and the woman was there too. So she said that she apparently has anxiety from big dogs. It could be even a Labrador, a Mastiff, anything large. And I was like, and she said she has anxiety over it, right? And I was thinking to myself in my head, like, but you've never met my dogs. How can you presume things, right? They've never done anything like that. So get this. They asked me not to park beside them, even though that spot is one of the largest spots in the RV park, and I have a 45-footer bus, so I'm really large, I'm really big. They asked me not to park there until the summer is over, and then I can go back to that spot because that's my winter spot, because they're not there in the winter now. They're not legally allowed to do that. Their time when I will not say anything to the campground because I don't want to be perceived as that, but the time will come when the campground will find out that they have, because they have no authority to tell me not to park in that campsite. I can park anywhere I want. I'm actually an elite member, so my membership is way, like when I first bought it a year and a half ago, it's way more expensive than, yeah, so it's a different kind of a membership. And yeah, so they're basically acting like the camp managers, telling me that because she's so afraid of big dogs, even though she has absolutely no reason. It's completely irrational due to the fact that she's never met the dog, just because she has anxiety and issues that she needs to deal with. That's what anxiety is. It's completely irrational, right? Yeah, so she's telling me not to park there. So what, every camper that comes there with a big dog, you're going to tell them to leave? Doesn't make sense. Anyhow, yeah, so we'll see next time I come back in the campground, because I'm allowed to stay here for 21 days in the summertime. That's how the membership works, and then you have to leave. You don't have to leave the system. You can go to another campsite, the same type of campsite, and they have hundreds in the US. This is the only one in Canada. There's one close by, past the border, the Thousand Trails campsite, that's what it's called. Yeah, so I could go there. The membership that I have is park to park, so 21 days at one campsite, 21 days at another, 21 days at another, but you cannot stay at the same campsite for more than 21 days. You could extend it twice a year for a week at a time, but that's about it. And yeah, so after I leave and then I go to another campsite and then I come back, if the only spot available is number 6, I will let the manager at the campground know that I'm actually not allowed to park there, and she'll probably ask me why, and I'll let them know that, well, they told me not to, and that's what they told me not to. And yeah, we'll see how well that goes with the campsite, if that's what happens to be, because all the other campsites are pretty small. I've been in a few last year that barely fit my motorhome, and my Jeep was sticking out on the road, right, when you park in front, so not good. How can you be afraid of a dog that you've never met? No. Like, I don't get it. How do you, like, you're just presumptuous. That's what anxiety is. I'm pretty much an expert in anxiety, right? I've had it for so long, and I've learned so many new things about it. I've been doing so much research, reading tapes. Anxiety is irrational, right? A lot of the things, 99% of the things never happen. So she has an image in her head because she was bitten as a child. She never dealt with it. And now she thinks every single dog is scary. All big dogs are scary. I actually think a lot of the small dogs are pretty scary too. Like the way these chihuahuas go off, they can come and nip your legs to pieces. So it just is wrong. And as long as you're a responsible owner with your dogs and you have them tied up, and look at the way I have mine tied up. They have 3. The way I do the leash is like 3 of these chains are tied up to each area of of their harness and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just completely irrational. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you later because maybe the campers are coming to talk to me. Bye. My boys at the lake. They're certainly enjoying themselves. We have been here for about 45 minutes now. It's a little bit busy, not too much. There are people jet skiing, boating, inflatable boats, anything that floats their boat, so to speak. And this is a nuke that I found last year actually. And I have been coming here for, yeah, this is going to be my second summer. I did find another nuke, but that one's a little bit busier. And the thing that I like about this one is that Fluffy up there, he's dying. He doesn't even want to go in the water. What I like about this nuke is that it's private. Come on, Molly. It's really private. They are tied up, my boys, to a leash because they're still young, and the chances of them misbehaving is too great, like running away or being intrusive and things like that. But according to the breeders, they said that they should never be off leash anyhow. So I don't know. We will see as they get a bit older. They're still, Hachi is a year and 5 months. Obi is a year and 8 months. He's going to be 2 years of age in September. A little bit over a year and 8 months. So there's not even 2 years of age. And apparently, Hachi, he came from a breeder that brings only German Shepherds, like he's directly from Germany. They mature much slower, so she said he will not be a full adult. Anyhow, dogs are not full adults until 3 times the age of 4, but Hachi's, her shepherds develop slower, and he still acts like such a goofball, so I can see what she's referring to. He's my little nugget. I love them both equally, but I have a really soft spot for this one. Because, you know, he acts like such a baby, and he does get sort of bullied from Obi. Obi presents himself as the alpha, this guy between the two, and I am not a big fan. You know, I know it's normal in the animal kingdom, but I don't want bullying underneath my house, under my household, so yeah. That's why I'm always protecting Hachi. And he knows, he always comes to me for protection. He's so beautiful. I'm in love with you, Hach. He knows, he gets anything that he wants. A little too much. He gets anything that he wants, my little baby. Yeah, and he always comes to me when something is the matter. He comes and he lets me know. He's such a good boy. And he's so mushable. Obi, no, you're intrusive. That was Obi. He's really rough, so to speak. So when I hug him, I have to be careful because he has actually, not deliberately, but because he's so rough and so, you know, like he makes sudden movements, like with his head and stuff. He has given me a blue lip before. So you have to just be more careful with him. He's really hyper. Actually, he's not. He's such a chill background. So, it's just different than others. I couldn't imagine having 2 Obi. 2 Apaches wouldn't be too bad, but Obi is like a Belgian Malinois. He never stops. Like, it's just ridiculous. And Hachi's doing this new thing where he argues with the rocks. So he tries to pick up a big rock and he argues with it. It's so cute, it's ridiculous. And the way he yells at it is It's crazy. He always picks the biggest rock. Look at the size of that rock that he's trying to pick up with his mouth. You wonder why he gets so upset. What's with the rock, babe? What's with the rock? What's with the rock? Are you a good boy, Oak? No, you're too rough, babe. And Obi's really jealous. Like whenever you try to hug Hachi, he gets in between. Like right now, you know, if Hachi's near, he just gets in between. Sometimes too intrusive. He's going to go and check it out. He's on guard. He's always, it's funny because Hachi is such a goofball, but yet he's very, very protective. That's it, guys. I had so many errands that I ran today. Bunch of things. I bought some food. I can show you when I get back home what I purchased. And I'm getting ready. I have 2 interviews. They go so fast. It's only a 50 zone. I have 2 interviews tomorrow for a new truck driving job. One is at 8:30 in the morning. Now, can you guys let me know? The one at 8:30 in the morning is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. It's a truck, semi-truck with a 53-foot trailer in the back. It's local. You only do local work, city driving. But the job pays very little. And the reason why I'm agreeing to go and have an interview is because I'm noticing that a lot of companies have a liability in Canada and they don't like to hire new drivers. The only companies that do want to hire new drivers are the long-haul companies, the ones where you drive long-haul. But that's not what I want to do at this point. So they pay way lower than other companies, and they are 80 kilometers each way from where I live. So I would be driving for about 160, 170 kilometers every single day. Let me know, guys, if you have done that, and I would have just taken, I might just take the job just to gain the experience. I know it's going to be tough just to even drive for a month or 2 and then quit. I know it's 80 kilometers each way is a lot for, and the pay, like I mentioned, is not, it's very low. And the guy actually, when he spoke with me on the phone, he told me right up front, he said something else I must mention is, this is what we pay. So I know it's low considering what everybody else is paying. And I told him, well, I've got to start from somewhere. So, I don't know. If the job is good, maybe I'll take it and I'll just swallow the 80 kilometers each way. But that means that I will have to wake up extra early. 80 kilometers drive out there. I have to get to my job. It'll take me like 3 hours to drive there, and then I have to get inside the truck and drive for another 10 hours. It might be a lot. But yeah, so that's one of the interviews, and I have another one that's really close by. It's like a half-an-hour drive within my area, and I have another one tomorrow there as well. So we'll see, and that's supposed to be local. Okay, guys, talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Guys, I just want to show you what is outside of my bedroom. So, just going to give you a little glimpse. This is the view that I have. Seriously, guys, it's a whole forest out there. Look, I can touch the forest. Isn't that the most amazing thing? why I love this RV life. I just can't even see myself, you know, going back in a condo or a house. How can you when you can wake up with a different view every single day? So that's it, guys. Talk to you later.